for this first problem. Okay, since you're not adding and subtracting, so this isn't really, or when you're looking at this, you don't have to use the combining fractions method because they're already combined into single fractions, right? My numerator here can be written as q minus 9 over the difference of squares, q plus 6, q minus 6. Okay, and I'm dividing by, I'll take out the factor of negative, so q plus 9 over, and I have a binomial, or a trinomial with binomial factors. The two factors of negative 48, whose sum is positive 2, plus 8, and minus 6. So here's my two fractions. I can invert and multiply. So here my negative q plus 9 gets moved to the denominator. Q plus 8 and q minus 6 get moved to the numerator. And that just becomes an invert and multiply problem. I can cancel any common factors. The q minus 6's cancel, and that's it. So I can move my negative powers up front, or the negative multipliers up front. And so I get my solution here of negative q minus 9 times q plus 8. There's my numerator. The denominator, q plus 6, and q plus 9. Okay, so that is my simplified form. And I canceled factors from the denominator, so q can't be 6. Also, because I did invert and multiply, I have to account for any factors in the numerator of the inverted fraction that didn't get canceled, which is this factor right here. So I have to establish that q can't be negative 8 as well. The second fraction, the exact, so that would be LCD method. In this particular case, you don't even actually have to use the LCD method. You just use the invert and multiply. Okay, same thing with this second example. Okay, you can just review what we did in 4.2. These are already written as factors, so I can just invert and multiply. The y squared gets moved to the denominator. The y plus 1 cubed gets moved to the numerator. I invert and multiply. Cancel common factors. 2 of these cancel here, leaving 2. 1 of these cancels here, leaving 2. So I wind up with y squared times y plus 1 squared. Nothing's in the denominator, so this is my simplified form. And when I look, I did cancel several factors from my denominator. Y can't be a negative 1 from this canceled factor. Y can't be a 0 from this canceled factor. Okay, and there's no, again, when you're looking at the uncanceled factors up here, you see that y can't be a negative 1. That's still apparent, or that's already included. Okay, and so those would be my two additional domain restrictions.